Futurist Jim Carroll from the virtual broadcast studio with a really big announcement. Some of you have already seen this, and I've had some questions around it, so I want to explain what is going on. You know that I've spent a tremendous amount of time innovating down here, building this virtual broadcast studio. There's a live shot of me from the back of the room right now. Well, I did this because with COVID, I had to virtualize my business. I put a lot of time and effort into figuring out how to do broadcasting in a very sophisticated green screen studio, and I certainly have learned a lot in the last 14 months. Well, there's a couple of trends underway. There might be a slow and eventual return to the in-person live events industry, and I might find myself on real stages in Las Vegas at some point in time in the future instead of being on my virtual stage. But the virtual stage will still continue to be a massive part of my business model going forward because the way that we get leadership insight is changing. But something significant happened. This happened yesterday. We put our home where we have lived for 29 years up on the market. It's been a home office. I've worked at home for 30 years, and 29 of those 30 years have been here. We raised our children here. They grew up in a world in which mommy and daddy, she works with me at home as well. We're always around the home office. I wrote 39 books at this location, but things change in life. And what has changed is my 26 and 27-year-old sons, they moved west as they established new careers, new lives with their fiance and with their girlfriend. And although they are relatively close, they are still far away. We miss them desperately. So on Monday this week, we bought a beautiful new home in a community called Guelph, Ontario, Canada. This is about 45 miles due west of metropolitan Toronto. It's really not that far. But this is a massive change because we are taking 29 years of our life and we're going to relocate it. And one of the most fascinating things that I've had from a lot of folks is, what's going to happen with the virtual broadcast studio? What's going to happen with your green screen studio? What's going to happen with all these green walls that you have in place? Well, one thing I know is we're not repainting this for the showings, which will begin as we sell our existing home. It's going to be here, it's going to be green, and people are going to wonder, what the heck is this about? But what I am going to do is I'm going to rebuild the studio. I'm going to have a new studio because I think virtualization is going to continue to be a key part of my business model going forward. The challenge is I have all this gear, I have all this equipment. When you look at the studio, I mean, there's just a whole bunch of stuff in here. When all these lights are on, it's like being in a nuclear furnace because it heats up. I've got to have fans running. There's a lot of sophisticated setup. Well, we're going to relocate it. We're going to rebuild it. There are cans of green paint in my life as we work to recreate what we have here. It's going to require some innovation because the working space will not be as massive as what I have here. There's always a little bit of downsizing in life, so there's going to be innovation in terms of lighting, in terms of rigging, in terms of the recreation, but there are buckets of green paint in my wife's future as we work to recreate and rebuild the virtual broadcast studio, because what I do see is as we eventually make our way out of this crazy COVID world is in-person events are not going to come rushing back. It's going to be a rocky road. There's going to be opportunities for some in-person stuff. I might be in Brussels in November. There's going to be opportunity for what we call hybrid events where I could be presenting virtually to audiences who are live, and there might be total virtual events. Whatever the case may be, we're going to rebuild the studio. We're going to recreate it. There's going to be multiple camera angles, a whole whack of lights, and a whole bunch of innovation as we go forward into the future. So everybody that's been asking, my world continues to be green, and it's all going to unfold in a wonderful new location, Guelph, Ontario, Canada, where I'll be about 10 minutes from one son, 20 minutes from the other son, their fiance and their girlfriend, because it's all about family, and we are excited to go on to this next stage in our lives. We don't close until August 25th. And the studio will be in operation here for another couple of months to come as I continue to work with my clients and as I continue to push the boundaries in terms of what we can do in the virtual world. But eventually we're going to have to tear it apart, paint some rooms, and rebuild it and go forward from there. That's it for now. Futurist Jim Carroll from the virtual broadcast studio in the land of green.